We are following breaking news this noon. There are reports General Electric packing up, moving to Boston, leaving their corporate headquarters here in Connecticut. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Scott McDonald. Keith Coons is off. GE bringing in $150 billion a year in revenue, and their Fairfield campus employing about 800 people. So what does this mean for the workers and the future of Connecticut? We've got live team coverage this noon. News 8, Stephanie Simone live in Fairfield with reaction from the First Selectman. But first, we begin with Chief Political Correspondent Mark Davis live in Hartford right now to break this all down for us. And this deal, Mark, how does it look?
Hey, good afternoon, Scott. Good afternoon, everyone from the state capitol. You know, we here at News 8 have had a source in Boston who has been saying this is going to happen for some time. So has just about every other news organization in the state, but you don't go with one source. However, the Boston Globe, which is a highly respected news organization, has now gone with the story, saying that the heads of GE called both Governor Baker in Massachusetts and the mayor of Boston this morning to say that it is a done deal, that they're going to move to the Boston seaport, where Boston is trying to develop quite a bit of land, quite a bit of business land and an economic development program up there. And as you know, GE has been talking about making this announcement for months. At first they said it was going to happen in December. They pushed it, they said, to at least the middle of this month. It now appears as though the announcement is coming. The Boston Globe also saying that an announcement, a formal announcement, an official announcement will come tomorrow from GE. Now, we don't know if that's going to happen in Boston or in Fairfield. And as you mentioned, they have about 800 top employees here, but they have hundreds more in facilities in Plainville and Norwalk and Stamford. Whether or not they're moving the entire home office to Boston or just a portion of it, we don't know. Joe Brennan, who is the head of the state's largest business organization, the Connecticut Business and Industry Association, and who really was the point guy during the legislative session when GE was talking about how mad they were about the taxes that they were passing here at the Capitol, was a good source for us at that time. Joe, you haven't heard anything officially either, I take it?
Nothing official, Mark. No, we haven't.
But what does this say, even though all of GE is not going to pull out no matter what this decision is, what does it do in terms of I don't know, one of your people, I think, called it an emotional black eye or a kick in the belly?
Well, first let me say, you know, we're terribly disappointed if this in fact is true, because GE is a tremendous company. I've worked with people there for almost 30 years. They add so much to the fabric of Connecticut. They're great corporate citizens and just wonderful people to deal with. So it's very disappointing if this is the case. But the reality from our perspective is, you know, this isn't just about one tax. I think taxes were a catalyst to them having discussions around this. But it was
the legislature repealed it in the special session, the one that they were complaining about. So obviously there's more to this than just that.
Well, they delayed one tax and made some changes to another. But it's really not just about taxes. It really is about an environment here that they didn't think was particularly welcoming to them over a long period of time. And it's the stuff we've been talking about for a long time. Our business climate isn't as attractive as it needs to be. Yeah. Have we made progress? There's no question we've made good progress. We've added back all the jobs we lost in the last recession. We're starting to grow our economy, but we still have some challenges here. And I think the GE decision, if that is in fact what they're doing, just underscores the fact that we've really got to accelerate our progress, because I know there's other companies having similar discussions in their boardrooms.
But now, when I asked the governor about this Monday, when he was at a business in Glastonbury, he said GE's going to do what they're going to do. As a matter of fact, that's a direct quote. But he also said that it's not really the big economic impact that it may look like, that it looks worse than it is.
Well, I mean, if you lose an iconic brand like GE, headquarters that's been here since the 70s, you know, that is, to me, it is a big deal. Is it the end of the world? No, of course it's not. We have tremendous companies here in Connecticut. But again, it is, I hate to use the hackneyed expression, a wake-up call, but it is like a wake-up call that if we don't make some changes, and again, we've already begun to make changes, but if we don't accelerate our progress, we just don't want to see similar decisions made by other companies around the state of Connecticut. And that's why we need to redouble our efforts to make the Connecticut economy everything it needs to be.
All right, Joe, thanks very much for rushing over here from your office downtown. I know some other reporters want to talk to you. Thanks again. It's always a pleasure working with you. I can tell you the governor is not here at the Capitol yet. As you know, he's coming back from Washington, where he was the guest of President Obama at the State of the Union address. However, his Economic Development Commissioner, Catherine Smith, just arrived at the governor's office, and on the way in, I asked her if either on the record or off the record she could tell me anything about what's going on, and she simply said, we just don't know enough to go on the record or off the record at this point. We do anticipate, though, at some point today, the governor will have something to say about this, and we'll have it for you coming up later on WTNH.com and here on News 8. Live at the state capitol, Mark Davis, News 8.
All right, Mark, great perspective. We'll have continuing coverage about the GE, the latest news. Throughout the newscast, Stephanie Simone, she is live in Fairfield with reaction. We'll check in with her at 12:30. Remember, you can always find the latest online. Just head to our website, WTNH.com.